Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Art in the Morning. I'm Dee Dee, and this is October 1st. So I'm going to try to participate in a challenge called MrJakeParker's Inktober. And I will put a link in the description box, and I've already put links in the chat room here. If y'all are watching this recording, I'm on Ustream. It's a live show with live people. And it's early. It's early. I stream at 9 a.m. Eastern. And we already have a pretty full house. So thanks, everybody, for being here. And you never know what I'm going to do until I hit record. So today I've been showing the link to Jake Parker Inktober, and what it is, he's been doing it I think for 5 years now. And what it is, it's a challenge to do something in pen and ink, using ink drawings to improve your inking drawing skills with ink. And you do a drawing every day in October for a month. And yeah, so my problem will probably be not to do just one, especially right here on the show. I don't know how long it's going to take me to do one. Let me tilt my camera down just a little. Now, I'm going to be working on white paper, which this is why I always try to keep something colorful and something here to focus the camera on. I cannot find take the auto lighting off on my settings. I haven't in 5 years. Never found that setting. I can find the take off the autofocus. I cannot take off the auto lighting in my camera software anywhere. And Dana even showed me a picture. It's not there. It is not there. I don't know. Anyway, so I said all that to say, when I turn this over and you see white paper, I'm probably going to have to kind of shuffle some things around again to try to keep the lighting focused. But before I do that, I'm going to show some of the things that I'm going to use. I have just a plain old pen. I'm going to try to use as much permanent ink or, water, at least semi-waterproof. I don't know that I'm going to be adding color or anything to it. However, depending on how well I like my drawings and everything, we just might have to make us a coloring book, people, with my ink drawings. We'll see. Now, I'm not saying from these sketches. These would just be small sketches. This is a 5.5 by 8.5 Strathmore white paper. But if I find some, if we do a lot of ink drawings and I like some of them or something, we might turn it into one of our adult coloring books. And for those of y'all who are watching, don't know what adult coloring books are, all it means are color books that are pretty much harder than normal to color. Like, let me grab one here. Like, they're not really the kids can do it, but they're very detailed, very, more a lot more detail in them, and y'all seen I've got a couple of recordings on that. So anyway, if y'all have any caps, if you have any questions, put them in caps. And yeah, so we'll see how that goes. So for Inktober, I didn't know if I wanted to do a theme, if I wanted to do just random ink drawings, which it may end up being a little of both. But I thought I'd like to do some, like y'all see me draw the sea turtle and the crab and the seahorse and things like that in the big art scroll roll in color pencil and drawing it and all that. Well, I thought that maybe some of those type of sea things would be good to put in this little book, kind of fill it with sea things. Because I don't want to just say sea creatures. I might draw some coral, which it is actually a sea creature. Coral is. But anyway, so we'll see. So I can't promise. Hey, Bridgeton, anybody else popping in? So I can't promise it's going to be just any kind of theme. But I do want to try to do the Inktober challenge of drawing a pen and ink drawing every day for a month. So I'm going to draw and talk about some pen and ink stuff here for a little bit, and then if I do decide that I've done enough of this for today, then we can stop this recording and start a new one. So if y'all look around on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere, hashtag Inktober, you'll find lots of people that are participating. And it starts today. Again, Jake Parker, I've already put the link in, and I will put it in my description box on YouTube, where you can go see his work, which is amazing, by the way. Amazing. and other people that are doing Inktober. Okay? So that being said, like I said, I'm going to do Strathmore sketch, white paper. Okay, I have a, just if I want to kind of sketch out where I'm going, just to get it to fit on the page. I'm not going to be drawing everything in detail with a pencil, but I might do a little quick layout of like a crab or something. I want it to fit on the page without inking, quickly inking it. Just do a quick little sketch. When I draw personally for myself, I just use these cheap Papermate disposable technical. You just roll up the lead there. I might have to bring my camera down a little. And I always use white rubber erasers. I don't use the red because they have a tendency to leave a mark on white paper. And then here's just the General's tri-tip, same kind of stuff, those white plastic erasers. We'll see how the focus goes. I might have to just draw, either focus in or drop my camera a little bit more, and we'll see how it goes. All right, for the inking, I have multiple things here. This will probably be my main thing to draw with. Is not just necessarily the Faber-Castell Pitt small tip, but I have other pens similar to this. I'm not real picky about it. The only thing that I like about the Pitt is it is permanent, so it's less likely to, any ink to smear if I do any kind of watercolor. That I don't think that's really going to be an issue in these drawings, but so I'm not real picky about any kind of black technical, just that they're tiny. So I have that. I have a thick Sharpie, and I've got thin Sharpies too. I'm just showing you all some of the random black ink things I have. I've bought this last time I was at Blick, and I've not used it yet. And it is this. I think this is the Japanese version of is it Pentel? Who makes it? It's got the. I guess I'm gonna have to do a rubbing just to read that. I don't. Maybe it's in. Anyway, it's one of these brush pens, ink pens. I have a picture of it. It's funny because Michael sells a version of these too. I think they're supposed to be the same at Blick and Michael's, but they have the Asian writing on one and not the other. I think Pentel is the one that distributes it here and at Michael's. Hey Dana. Okay. Oh, okay. Hey, Dana. You can hear me. Then I have a variety. Y'all know I used to be a calligrapher back in the, I guess I should say, when I was really doing it professionally, would have been back in the 80s. But sorry for my voice, guys. Let me take a sip of coffee. Once I start talking here, everybody knows that Paula Barb. Everybody knows when you start talking on stream, your voice starts, getting used that morning. Anyway, so I have a variety of calligraphy pens. I've got tons of calligraphy pens and brushes and all kinds of things. I just picked out a few here because I think what I'm going to do is on my cover page is write Inky Well does Inktober or something like that. So I'll probably start with maybe a little bit of a calligraphy notation of that. I have a couple of different brushes. I got a tiny brush and I got a liner brush. I've got tons. Y'all know I got tons of brushes. A brush is not a problem. I'm just showing you a couple things. And if you go to Jake Parker's website, let me link it again, the Inktober, and let me read it out. It is MrJakeParker.com/Inktober, Inktober. And again, hashtag that if you're looking for people that are participating this month to see all different kinds of work. Then I just got some my Chinese ink here. I have different kinds of, again, all kinds of permanent ink. I got I got some Japanese, I got some Chinese, I got my Black Cat, I got all kinds of black ink. I just pulled this one off because this is the one that my Fairy Treasures just sent me in a rack a couple weeks ago. So I thought I'd go ahead and use that if I'm going to do some little bit of calligraphy. I have a little inkstone here. Again, I know that these inkstones are made for grinding down your ink sticks and not for really pouring this ink into it. But So if you're a purist with the inkstone grinding stones, don't email me. You know, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the process. This is just where I'm going to put a little bit of ink here if I want to dip or use a brush. All right, so I think we have any questions so far. Hey, Paula. And I did watch a little of Paula's, actually watched a little bit of Paula's stream last night. I was so wound up about Inktober, I like couldn't go to sleep, so I actually had Paula on the background for a little bit, where she's blaming me for every enabling color thing she ever has bought. I'm serious, Paula. You blame me for way more. And I just blame you for the Paula Paris book. Yes, I'm a rebel. I'm going to go crazy with my inkstone. I know, right, Vicki? Okay, so again, once I turn this paper over to the white side, it's going to probably flash everything out. That's why I got all kinds of things here to try to keep our camera lighting and in focus. Yeah, I know you did, Paul. Paula said I inspired her the most for all the coloring stuff. I know. But it was just funny. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting blamed for everything over there. And I'm not even there to defend myself. I love you, Paula. If y'all know, Paula's Journal Artista. And yeah, she's a hoot. She streams every Wednesday and Saturday nights around 9-ish, 9 Eastern. So y'all check her out too. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to turn this over. And there went the lighting. I'm going to try to keep something around me here to keep the focus because it's the white paper. All right, so I may need to, I don't know, what do y'all think? If I bring it up like this, maybe y'all be able to see. I don't want to get too zoomed in that it's just a big pixelated something. And I don't have my camera on the little tripod right here. I was kind of worried about doing that because, you know, it's just on one of those little gorilla arm tripods when it's right here. And knowing me, a bunch of ink, I didn't want to take a chance. So we're going to see. I know, right, Packer Die? I know. And I got to watch the rest of her stream later. I've been on the phone all morning. So what do y'all think? Y'all let me know. Should I zoom in one? Can y'all see well? Do I need to drop the camera down one? Or just let me know throughout the process if y'all can't see anything. What's going on? Okay. Yeah. Jean. It's all right, Jean. We talk about you while you're out getting breakfast in the morning. We're here talking about you, Missy. Just saying, sassy. All right. So again, I think what I want to do is I'm going to do, and I will have to tilt it when I'm doing a little bit if I do any like calligraphy. Y'all just let me know. Let me know. Zoom in one. Okay, how about if I try to drop the camera? Let's try to drop the camera down rather than the zoom. Hang on, guys, I'm going to move the camera. Let's see about if I, whoa, see, hang on. Oh. Okay, let's make sure that's not going to fall. Hang on, guys. Y'all know around here it's impromptu. There we go. I think that'll hold. All right, let's see if that's any better. Let's tilt this up. My tape. Okay, I kind of lost the nice lighting. There we go. See, look. See how it goes? Look. Isn't that just weird? And regardless of what Dana said, I cannot find the lighting hold in my settings anywhere. So I don't know what else to do, guys. Let me try to tilt that light around. I mean, see? But it flashes out, you know. Okay, we'll just have to roll with it. Pretend I have this nice tan when I really look like this. Okay, but I think you'll be able to see the drawing, right? And that's the most important thing. All right, I'm doing my best, guys. I'm doing my best. And it's a good camera. It's just that lighting. I know, exactly. It is. It's like a strobe light. So I'm going to kind of keep this here for maybe a little bit of focus. We'll see if that helps some. All right. At least it looks pretty clear. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I'm just going to put a little, I'm so worried about that falling over. If I sound loud too, that's the other thing. If I sound loud because the camera is really close here, let me know and I'll turn the volume down just a little or talk a little quieter. All right, so I'm just going to put a little of this ink. Just has a little script. Put a little ink. Okay. And I'm going to set that right there. Doesn't help the focus, does it? I would think it would. Okay. So I'm just going to get a little ruler here, and because the first thing I'm going to do on the cover page here is write, my nickname is Inky Well. So Inkwell and Inky Well. I went with, back in IRC days, it was Inkwell. But when I came to Twitter and YouTube and Ustream and all that, other social media, most places Inkwell was taken, so I had to go with Inky Well. So now on Twitter and Instagram, I'm Inky Well. So, but I want to do Inky Well, and then maybe the date and Inktober, something like that. Could be the difference between the white and black. I don't know. Maybe, Jean. I don't know. But look how great it looks without the white. Everything looks great when I don't have the white there. It's white paper. Cameras don't like white paper. It's picky. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is, first off, I'm just going to put a place right here in the middle where I might want 2015. And again, I have not done any kind of calligraphy professionally much. I mean, I've done a couple certificates and stuff since the 80s, but I used to do full on parchment, work back then, but I really don't do much with calligraphy anymore, since most people just buy their fonts and their calligraphy and get it free online. But anyway, again, when I'm doing any kind of sketching or quick little drawings just to like map out what I want to do, you're not going to probably be able to see it with the pencil, and that shadow is going to bug me. Let's see here. Don't want a shadow. Well, all right. Think it'll work? Thanks, Vicki. Try a piece of white cardstock under the book. You mean cover up the black? Instead of having a black background, have a white background? I think that'll just kind of... Let me try. Let me get a big white piece of paper. We'll see what happens. I don't know that that'll help, but we'll give it a shot. No. Does that help? Maybe it did. I don't know. Sorta. Kind of comes in and out. Maybe I need another one. Hang on. All right. So the idea is when you work with white, you have to have it all white, huh? All right, let's see. And then this will keep the focus. Well, that'll help the light. I don't know. I'm still, see? We'll see. All right, we're going to try it, Miss Jean. I'm going to try it. We're getting it, guys. Okay. Did that help any? Hey, Jamie. I don't know. Okay. So I just want to make sure that it fits. Now I want to make sure I don't get ink on my hand here. So in the middle here, I do want 2015, and I'm just blocking in to make sure everything fits. That's what you have to do in calligraphy, And I'm just I want Inky Well, and then I want Inktober, and this is just so I know kind of how much room I have. See, I can move all that over, so now I know when I could either erase it and move it over, or I can just eyeball it. You can't see it, but just so I know how to fit it in. And hey, Julie, Lisa, Pam. Right now I'm writing Inky Well 2015 15. Oh, I do want to hashtag that. Hashtag Inktober. It's Mr. Jake Parker does a yearly inking challenge where you do an ink drawing every day in October. Now I'm not going to film. I'm not going to be able to film every day, obviously, but I do want to post a picture every day. But I just thought the first day it might be kind of fun to. Wow, that's just really wild there. I do want to do the first one. And sorry about the lighting, guys. I cannot, I'm just not good at controlling this white paper thing. No matter what I'm doing, it's just, I guess I could keep my arm out there. But I think y'all would get the idea. All right, so I think first thing I want to do is just going to kind of do my own. I'm not going to do a specific font um, for this. I'm just going to do what I feel like doing. And I want kind of a medium. Maybe this one will work. So I have some ink here, and I'm just going to dip my calligraphy pen in that. And we're going to go for it. If it messes up, that's the thing. Ink is, ink is ink. But I don't care. That's one of the things that it never bothers me. Y'all know if I make a mistake, it's just like either turn the page, you just keep going, you fix it or something. But you don't worry. Now I'm going to have to tilt this just a slight bit, just a tiny bit of an angle. And I do want, let's see, do I want a straight on? Let's see what kind of lettering I want to do here. Let me get my pen working. There we go. It's going to be a little crooked because, like I said, I haven't been practicing. Do I want to round it in? I think I'll just do a rounded in. And what I want to do after this is then go in. Oh, let's see, I'm really close, and I know I probably sound like I'm yelling at you. I want to kind of sketch around the letters and play a little bit. So do I want a small K, a large? I think I'll go with the bigger one. Let's just go with the larger one. And I just want a flat I. And I guess I'll go with a rounded W. Now, do I want dots above it or not? I don't know. So this is just my cover page in my little journal book, little Strathmore book that I'm going to do my Inktober drawings in. Okay, so now let's say I want to do a hashtag here. A little O a little off. Okay, my pen is not wanting to cooperate on this paper. Okay, I got that B a little messy, but I can go back with the pen and kind of straighten it out. But I want to kind of sketchy around it anyway. Oh, I'm sorry. What, Vicki? Did you forget? I did forget the E in Inkwell. See, guys? Now, here's the thing I could do. I can tear it out and start over. To me, what'd be more fun is just put a little thing up here and put an E. Like, in other words, these are not going to be perfect, you know. Uh, but we'll do it over. Okay, we're gonna do it over. But yeah, well, I'm gonna try to flip it out. I want to keep it in the book. I want to keep this in the book, but I got to let this, make sure this is dry before I flip it to the back page because it'll soak through. So let me take my heat gun to it. We're gonna leave it in the book. Thank you, Vicki. And even when your ink looks dry, even with the heat gun, you really want to see. I can see still there's some spots there. Let me get a Kleenex. I always tell y'all this. When you're doing your lettering like this, even though you hit it with the heat gun, you'll still see places you can wick up the ink. I mean, it looks dry, but you got to check it because otherwise you're going to be sorry if you turn it over and it smears. So I'm just wicking up that excess ink there and looking for the shine to make sure that yeah, that little swishy E in there. Okay, so now let me hit it with the heat gun again just to make sure. That was our practice page. Okay, now we're going to do it again. All right, so let me get my... you guys, thanks, Vicki. But anyway, all right, let's see. Where's my pencil? Let's put this back in again, just some guidelines to, kind of. We will remember the E. All right. Right, oops, with the smiley face, yeah. All right, so let's start again. All right. Now I kind of know how it's going to fit without putting the letters in, I think. Okay. So again, guys, is it sound really loud? Because I can turn my microphone down because I'm literally inches away from my camera. I'm trying to get some kind of focus here. Oh my gosh, look at that. Maybe if I just do something over here. Maybe I just need to move it up. All right, let's go for it again. All right, and we'll put the E in again. Well, now I got my hand practice. See, I didn't do a warm up. This is it. This is my warm up. The cover page was supposed to be my warm up, and I picked a thinner pen. How did I do that? Wait a minute. Yeah, let me go back to this one. All right, here we go. Now again, I want this kind of. I have these two ends I could go for. I could go for this end, or I can go for a, kind of like this end. I kind of like the rounded one. Now let me pull that up so I don't get my paper in there. Okay, thanks, Jamie. I just don't want to sound like I'm yelling at you guys with the camera. I think I'm going to go with the round one. But you know what? I think I'll go with the round one. See, I'm getting ink on myself. I think I'll go with a rounded one, but not curved, like maybe just that. Doesn't look as good to me. I like the roundy one, the curvy one. Okay. The rounded one, yeah, I like the rounded one too. Okay, so here we go. E. There's an E in there. And I'm just over here with my ink, just kind of dragging out my pen and the ink. You can't see it over there, but that's what I'm doing. All right. And if you just saw me do that too, and you're a calligrapher, you know you're not supposed to you're supposed to lift your pen and go each way. Don't email me. Again, it's been a while since I've really done any professional calligraphy. Okay, now Inktober. Okay, I want to hashtag it. And I want it thin so you can kind of really get the hashtag idea. I should maybe come down just a little so I have enough space. Let's see. Let me just make a little bit, give me myself a little bit more space right there. And then always make sure before you erase any guidelines like that, make sure your ink is like almost like you want to let it dry overnight. I'm not kidding. You think it's dry, you think, oh, it's dry now, it's dry. It rarely is. You're holding your breath, Jeannie. I'm not. Y'all saw I messed up the E. Just go move on. It's no big deal. Seriously. Now, if you're doing a big calligraphy and you're halfway through, it's a big deal. Then, yeah, I wouldn't be trying to do that on a stream for sure. Okay, so let's see here. And technically your T's are not supposed to be as tall as your K's. Inkto. And same for the B's. Okay. Now what I want to do is let this dry and then play with some sketchy lines and stuff around it. Let me, I do need to get over here to my water, clean my nibs as I go. We don't want crusty bits on your nibs. And this, okay, I'm trying to, I'm trying to go under the, where's that one I started doing, the smaller one. I need to clean that one off too. Although you can see, I'm not real picky about how clean I keep them. They are crusty bits on there. All right, let's see. That was the one, I think. Okay. And also I'm going to want a couple splatters. I got to do some splats. Maybe I could do that with a pipette. Should we use a pipette? Here's the one that, this is the pipette that came from my Fairy Treasures, Angie. But this one will probably be just as good. Well, we'll wait and do the splats at the end. But I think we'll do a couple pipette splats. How about that? Need more lettering lessons. This is, and I know I see every fault in every one of these letters. I see it because I know how I can do it if I get my hand in practice, which it's not. But the only reason I'm just doing this is just my little cover page, okay? This is just a little cover page. Now, again, let me wick up. And what you do, just take a little Kleenex and get a little point on there and tilt it to the side. And you can see any place that's not dry. And you can wick up your ink. And then I will also hit it with the heat gun. And I will not erase my lines right now. I'll let it make sure it's set well. Okay, here we go. The dip pens? That's what I'm doing right now. I'm sorry. Is that what kind of demo? What does she want to know? What does she want to know? Pipette splat sound fun? Yeah. So anyway, and now what I kind of wanted to do was I'll take just a pointy. That one's not pointy. That's got a. Let me see. I know I got one here somewhere. What did I do with it? It's not that one. It's not that one. It's not that one. It's not that one. Where's my little pointy one? Let me get another one then. I have just a little old jar with some of my handles in it. Then I have other ones in my little. That one might be good. There, and then I have from Pam. I don't know. Is Queen Pam here? Let me show y'all this while I'm at it. Where is it? Ah, here it is. Queen Pam made this. And she's the first to say she did not invent this. She didn't invent it, but she made me one, and I need to retape it here. I've used and used and used it. My tape is coming off a little bit there. But she made this little, oh, it goes this way. She made this little nib holder for me. And let me show you how it looks. I know I've shown it. Let me put this one back in. A little nib holder. And it's a little chipboard, and you can see how the nibs are all like in, whoops, they're all like in layers, see? And it's made out of corrugate cardboard. She's covered it. And then because of the corrugate, you can just slip your nibs into the corrugate cardboard. Isn't that awesome? She is here, isn't she? Yeah, there she is. Isn't that awesome? So this is where I keep the bulk of my extra nibs, and then some are on the handles, but most of the handles are just like right here. Oh, wait, where was, who was it? Paula? Somebody was asking about this wide one. Anyway, so yeah, so Pam made this little nib holder for me, and it's awesome. And she put a little magnet there so that it stays closed. But I open and close it so much, I need to reinforce that one edge right there. So you can see all the little nibs. So what I came over here to do is find a pointy one. Maybe that one. And I can't tell you anymore what the names or numbers are of them. But I like, when I can, to use one that's broken in. They just seem to work better. So I'm thinking I might go with this one. All right, I got to kind of put it over here so I can see them. Maybe I'll go with that one. All right, let's try this. It's a new one, but I'm going to go for it anyway. Let's take this one out. They just slide out of the handles. We'll go with this one. Let's see where it's going in there. And then they just slide in. Again, this is a new one. It's pointy. I don't know the number on it. I'd have to get out my magnifying glass to tell you. Yes, I love the nib nest. I didn't even think about calling it that. The nib nest. Let me write that down. Here's the, I keep the card in there, so let me write that down. Oh, you have it on there. Nib nest. Oh my gosh. I didn't even, didn't remember it being on there. But I keep the card in here, Pam, in the back of it, the back page of it. So, I love my nib nest. So that's where the bulk, but again, I've used it so much, it's kind of coming apart right there. Okay, so let's get this baby going, flowing. I'm going to do a little test over here. So what I want to do is try to, and technically you're supposed to burn it or to get the wax off. I don't know if this had, I'm not wax, but oil. I probably should have stuck a match to it just to get any oils off. But I think we got it going. We got it flowing. And there's products you can do to do that. I just don't remember. It's been so long. And they probably are all different now anyway. Janet's leaving. Bye, Janet. Janet was just afraid I was going to show a sock monkey, I know. She's afraid I was going to show Bridgeton. Okay, so what I kind of wanted to do, let me just practice right here on this little letter here, is I just kind of wanted to do some kind of sketchy little lines around it just to kind of make it look kind of fun, you know, something like, I don't know if y'all can see that, but what I just, you know, to make it not so formal. But this pen's not working like I want it to. I need to get that oil off of it. Let's see here. I don't want to start this with a pen that I'm not happy with. You know what I mean, Vern? It's this Chinese ink that, what do you call it, Angel? I mean, and My Fairy Treasures, Angie Bell sent me. And I just picked this one. I've got a couple of, I got a Japanese one, a Chinese one, I got Black cat. I don't know, I'm just looking up at the shelf now. I've got probably 10 different kinds of black ink, but I'm just using this because it's the one Angie sent me with the little stone here. So, yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I need to burn it because it's not coming off. So let me go ahead, get the ink off so I don't set anything on fire. I know I have my little wax kit. Hang on, let me see where I put that. Since I moved everything around, hang on guys, I gotta kind of remember where I put my wax seal box. I have a wax seal box with um, a lighter and melting wax implements. I can't put my hand on it right now. Okay, where is it? It's over here with my stamps and stuff somewhere. Oh no, I think I changed it over here to my ink station. Let's see. When I rearranged everything, y'all know how that goes, right, Paula? But I don't know where that box is with all my seal stuff. What will I do with my seal stuff? I don't know, guys. I don't want to spend the whole show looking for supplies. But I got my wax seal box somewhere right here, but I'm not able to put my hand on it. So, okay, moving on. We're going to have to go to plan 2 because I can't burn this without the lighter that's in the wax seal box. And I don't know where I put it. I'm looking around. I'm not seeing it anywhere. Huh. Oh, well. Okay. Hey, Eileen. No, I didn't see that, Eileen. But anyway, I can't find my lighter that's in with the wax seal. So, I mean, I could go downstairs. Let me go downstairs and put it under the stove and get some hot coffee. If you're watching the recording, just fast forward. I'll be right back. Okay. The nib is burned. Let's see now. Whew, I got fresh coffee. That's the important thing. Okay. And I got some water here. All right, now. And you can tell, you can feel it. You can feel it. It's different. That probably work. If it doesn't, we'll just go to the Faber-Castell pen, right? Okay. All right, let's put this back over here. Cover up that wet ink. Catch my breath. So what I was wanting to do, though, is just kind of play around with some kind of like sketchy kind of line things around the lettering. Just kind of play, not have it perfect. I want it real sketchy-like with some of the letters to make it look like you're really practicing and learning. And if that's the case, I guess I should have just left the one with the E gone, right? So anyway, if y'all weren't here a minute ago, I did this already and I left out the E. So this is Mr. Jake Parker's Inktober challenge every October. I think he's done it for 5 years. See, now, let me give y'all a little hint here. I had a little tiny bit of water from when I rinsed out one of these nibs, and it dropped right there. So now when I touched it, look, Right there, I touched it with the ink, and now it's got a little wet, but I'm going to splot this anyway, right? So it doesn't matter. Mr. Jake Parker is doing the Inktober. He's done it every year for like 5 years. And I'm just kind of wanting to do a little sketchy bits and maybe a little bit of swirls. And, you know, he does this every year for 5 years, and his drawings are amazing. I mean, he's, yeah, you'll see. If you go to his Mr. Jake Parker, what is it? Mr. Jake Parker / Inktober.com/October. Y'all find it. I'll put a link in the thing. Okay, I still have a couple wet drops here of water. Let me get a baby wipe. Clean my hair. You got to keep your hands clean with. I mean, look at all that ink that just came off. I mean, it's amazing how fast the ink spreads up your arm. So, but I just don't want any wet anything here. So I got a spot right there. Actually, that would probably be a good place to get it to spread. Let's make it spread right there. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and get the pipette. Let's see what we can do here. I'm going to pull. Oh, that was a little bit much. I just wanted some splatters. Now I'm going to have to, I think that's good. Let me clean out the pipette. I like saying it, you know what I mean? I like saying pipette. Okay, so I'm over here in my water, squeezing it out to clean it, making a big mess, of course. All right, now, we really got to do some wicking here. I'm telling you, people, that is a blob. That is a blob of ink. All right, so we're going to watch how much is going to wick up on this. That is a lot of excess ink right there, honey. That's a lot of excess ink. See? And I actually kind of wanted a little bit more splotchy, you know? I mean, like, I could take a brush here and kind of just like make it even more splotchy looking. Paint our own splotches, like not so perfect splotch. And there's that wet one down there. We'll just cover that one up too. I'm liking it. Okay. Now, I want a few littler ones. I got to keep cleaning everything as I go. I mean, it's a mess over here, people. Already. Okay, so let's keep my baby wipe handy. Let me get a fluff brush, a fluffier brush. You need a fluffy brush for making better splats or splatters. Let's see, that one's pretty. That one will probably work. As long as it's kind of fluffy and soft, because I want to. I'm gonna do a few littler ones here. Just a couple there. Okay, there we go. So I think we're done with the cover page. I do like saying pipette. I do. I like saying that, Vicki. Pipette. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong anyway. I'm sure the French are probably rolling around anyway. Okay, so here we go. Just got a little. There's my ink. Well, and I'll I'm gonna post things and hashtag, but I got to get this dry. Oh wait, let me wick that up a little better, or even dab it. That one's really. This one too. Be there a while. Clean off the hands. You gotta really, when you're doing ink, you gotta really watch that. It's not like our mixed media where I got paint flying everywhere and it dries on my hands. Yeah. All right, here we go. I'll take a picture with a nib, or something like that, laying on it later. All right, let's make sure here before I turn the page. Some of those little splots I can see are not dry. Those tiny ones. It's those tiny ones that get you. I'm telling you. Those little tiny, that's all it takes is one of those to go and you're smeared. What did Jean say? Dee Dee's confirming she will not be buying ink. Now, Jean, can we say dilutions ink? Can we say that, Miss Jean? Okay, I think it's, we'll hope it's dry because we're going to flip it over now. All right, so again, see it kind of went through there. This is just this is Strathmore sketch, 5.5 by 8.5. And the reason I'm using this, most of my, I mean, I have big sketchbooks, hardback sketchbooks with pure white paper in it. But most of the sketchbooks I have are just, just to sketch in are like off white. They're not pure white. And I wanted to have a pure white book for this challenge. But the challenge with that is unless I get out my Bristol board, which, I'm so out of practice with pen and ink, I didn't really want to start like slapping down, some sketches basically on Bristol board. So that's why I'm using this kind of thinner. So I'm just going to go ahead and just, well, that won't bother me so much, but, I'm not using the back sides of anything. All right, so now we're going to move on to drawing a crab. That's the one thing I wanted to do. I'll probably have to do it this way anyway because I'm kind of his legs and all. So y'all have seen me draw the sea creatures and all kinds of animals and the seahorse, the sea turtle, some shells, all kinds of things. But I just thought it might be fun at least start out. I mean, it could have been a butterfly. I could have started out with any animal. I thought about a giraffe and some of the other animals. Carrie wants me to do a platypus. But I kind of think that those, I have my big art scroll. Sorry, guys, for the non-focus again. The art scroll where I'm doing those animals. I thought for something like a pen and ink, that something like a crab or something that has a lot of little details. Again, I don't know how well you're going to see this. Maybe, all right, I'm going to go ahead and go for it, guys, and try to zoom. We might lose some clarity, but I'm going to go ahead and try here. Let's try to autofocus again with something. Where's my, let's see. It's always the lighting. It's always the lighting. Focus it. All right, let's see. See, there went the light. Let's try to keep that right there. Okay. It's gonna. I hope it's okay, guys. I'm doing my best, seriously. All right, now I'm gonna move this little pan of ink over to the side for now, because now I'm gonna try to move on to. I'm gonna quickly sketch this out. Let me move my calligraphy pens out of the way, and my pipettes. And my nib nest. I don't need those brushes right now. And I'm just going to kind of go back and forth to some different things. So I'm going to first kind of sketch out the crab, and then we're going to start with this Faber-Castell Pit, a small, it's an S. You can also get an F for fine. And of course you get bold and brush and medium. And yeah. Squid with the ink. Orla. Okay, so anyway, guys, let's just go ahead and sketch out. I have a picture of a crab right here. Let me turn it on its side, get some better detail. And right now, I just want to kind of sketch him out like, well, I gotta turn it this way to get his legs. And the legs actually do go off the picture, but I think I'm gonna try to. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna try to draw him. I'm not going to try to draw him in pencil like every detail. I just want to place him. I just kind of want to find my placement for him, and I got to make sure he's small enough to fit on this page. So just give me a second here. Kind of sketch him out. Because I want to make sure he fits. There's his little eyeballs. It's he's going to be tiny. I mean, it's going to be small. I did this on purpose. Now, you probably won't see very much of the sketch. Actually, I think that's part, this is his eyeballs up here. You won't see a lot at this stage. I'm going to make him a little wider. I just want to kind of place him here. And we're going to go in and ink him. All right, let's see here. And again, you know, this is not my medium of choice, ink, but I just wanted to do the challenge. All right, so now let's see here. Let's kind of fit his legs in. I got to kind of see him there. There's one. Make sure I get all of his legs. He's got 8 legs and 2 claws. I don't want to leave any legs out. Somebody will definitely be emailing me. Okay. That one you can't really see back there. All right, so that kind of sketches out that side. His claw. There's his leg here. It's kind of coming right at you. So let's just kind of sketch that in where that leg's going to go. This one back here. And another one's kind of coming around back there. Okay. I think that's kind of, there's the joints of his legs there. All right. There we go. I got them sketched out. All right, so now let me move my heat gun out of the way. All right. So now comes the little detail with the pen. So what I'm going to do, and hopefully you'll be able to see, I'm going to start with a light line, and then you can go in there and either use this to kind of thicken it up, or I can go in there with a brush pen, or I could go in there with a brush and the ink. I'm just going to try different things. Thanks, guys. I'm just going to try different things. It's not going to be, this is not a class. This is not a tutorial. This is just me trying to do the Inktober challenge, okay? All right, so, and I will have to tilt this just a little bit so I can, get up in here. Let's see. Let me turn the camera down just a little. Maybe if I keep my hand right there, it'll... All right, guys, so here we go. Let's see. And again, I can erase these pencil lines. This will probably dry a lot quicker than the wet ink, the dip ink. But I just kind of really now I'm going to just kind of sketch them in here in ink. Okay. And then we can erase the pencil lines because it won't take that long to dry. But this is where you want to spend your, it's like, and again, I'm not going to be doing every one of these on camera because I know it would get very, it's hard enough to see anything I'm doing anyway. But I will post my pictures that I do throughout the month with the hashtag Inktober. Okay. I'm just going to kind of get my little map here where I'm going. From the sketch, the pencil sketch. And then we can go in there and put, darken areas and put the detail. Let's see. And it does take me a little bit more concentration than an art journal page, because I kind of do art journal pages by instinct, you know, and I'm out of practice from doing any pen and ink, that I can't really do this by instinct at this point. You know, it's just not instinctive for me at right now. You can see good, quite well. Thanks, Carrie. All right, so I want to make him a little bit more flatter on the top than I sketched out. A little boxier over here. And then any of the pencil lines, you know, I can erase. So, all right, so let's just kind of come in here now. There's all kinds of dark stuff going on underneath here. I'll get in there. Let's get these claws lined up here. I'm just kind of doing a little sketchy, and we'll see how much detail I can get. And again, all this can be, I don't have to follow these lines exactly. They're just kind of like a little bit of guidelines for me. What I really liked about the crab was all the little joints. You know, all the little, it's almost like my gorilla claw tripod. It goes all different ways. That's kind of what it reminds me of. And again, you can always draw upside down if you want to make, you know, at least check it if you really want total accuracy. Today, I want it nice and I want it kind of accurate, but I'm not going to freak out about it because I really am out of practice with, you know, trying to draw something very, very detailed with ink. I mean, I can do like the Danny Gregory, draw your whatever, you know, draw everything with ink and just throw it down real quick. But I'm really trying to hone more of my like inking skills with this month's challenge rather than just throwing down a crab that'll look like a crab. I do want to kind of, you know, hone some of the skills that I haven't used in a long, long time. So if you have any questions, put them in caps. I'm just going to keep moving along here. And then I want to come in here with, you know, some cross hatching or some shading or, you know, some darker areas. And again, you know, I'm trying to be aware of what I'm doing here without taking up too much. Now his arms kind of go off the page. I'm going to have to invent the claw on that one. And be aware of what I'm doing here, and you know that there's a live chat with over 50 people. But I'm looking at the picture of the crab like much more than I am my drawing. You got to constantly be looking at your reference if you want to do um, accuracy, you know. Claw back there somewhere, and then this one kind of goes off the page. I mean, you don't see that claw, just see the leg, kind of. All right, kind of got that where it's going. Oh gosh, this is cheap paper. It's just this cheap Strathmore sketch paper. It's not even drawing paper. It is 60 pound. It's just the sketch paper. All right, let's come in here. Let's see. All righty. Like I said, this is my getting back in the, trying to do some kind of pen and ink, and so I'm not going to break out, Bristol and all that at this stage of the game. I'm just going to use this little sketchbook for this challenge this month. And again, if I like what I'm doing, if I end up liking some of these drawings, I might turn them into a color book. I'll draw them, I'll redraw them large, of course, like 8.5 by 11, you know. But we'll see. This is what I want to do for the month of October, is this challenge. Okay, so that light comes out here and the claws come down there. And a couple of these claws go off the page, so I have to just kind of go with my best guess there. As to where they go. Just kind of make a little claw there. Let's see. And then this one's kind of behind that one. And then what I'll do after I get this sketched in is I can go in and pick out tinier details. And I gotta say, guys, I don't know if it was a good idea to start. Well, I mean, I don't mind doing the start of this challenge here on live stream, but when I start getting in there, like, we'll see really me do anything. So anyway, all right, I'm pretty sure that's pretty dry, but I'm gonna hit it with the heat gun, and then I'm gonna take the eraser to it and get rid of my pencil lines. And because I'm just, when I do any kind of ink drawing, it's not any kind of precision. It's more like if I'm out sketching, Cam and I are out drawing, and it's either pencil and ink, but it's not precision. It's not exact. It's like you're at the aquarium and you just get it down real quick. Here I'm going to try to force myself to be more accurate, more attention to detail, my shading and all that. I'm going to try to make it more, I don't know what the word is, more technical, more accurate, precise. Okay. All right. So there's my little crab sketch. And again, I should have my brush here. Well, I'm pretty much done erasing, but it's always good to have something like this to get rid of your crumbs, rather than, especially when you're working in ink. Smear, smear. Okay, there's my coffee cup sticking to my paper. Alrighty. So I think, just to play, just to test this out, let me make sure it's all going here. I haven't used this I haven't used this particular one since I bought it. It's brand new, a couple of months ago, but I've not really used it other than to go, oh yeah, it works. But what I thought I would do is I want to just play with all different forms of my ink, and I don't care if I'm mixing a permanent, non-permanent. At this stage, this is my work it out kind of month. So this is you can see how small the lines can get here. So what I want to do with this now is, right now I'm just going to get my bearings with this tool, is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to pick out a couple of the joints that are very dark black, and I'm just going to kind of go in there and just kind of, just so I can get familiar with this little, just, I don't know. Can you refill this one? I think you can. I think Jane or somebody told me you could. So I'm just going to get those joints and see how fine line I can get with it. And again, I'm constantly looking over there at the reference just to kind of know where I'm going. And behind this claw, under his chin, there's a little, shape right there. You kind of look at the shapes. Look at your shapes. That's the best way to make sure you're accurate. And I can see this is way not accurate, but, hey. Okay. Just picking out the darkest darks with the thicker. Because that's what this, to me, that's what this challenge is. It's the challenge of getting better at inking, but also, it hones your perception and your eye hand. And, I'm just used to doing a lot of loose work. And so to have something really precise like this is good for me, at least once a year, right? So I hope it's not too boring for you guys. I know we always say we'll watch paint dry, but you can usually see the paint. This is hard to see. I'll have to try to, maybe next time if I do another one like this. Again, I'm not going to do all 30 days on camera. I will show you what I've drawn during that 30 days, but I can't promise you I'm going to do a lot of these on camera for a live stream, because really, guys, I mean, be honest, can you really even see much? You can tell me. I can take it. Aw, thanks, Angel. Yeah, but if you can't see it, that's the thing. If you can't see it, it's kind of is. It's all about, but come on now, here's my thing. If I can do this on camera live in front of, you know, 50 plus people, you have no excuse, Inktober challenge people, that you can't do it and post something that nobody can see until you're ready to have it seen. Know what I mean, Vern? You know, right? Anybody out there that's afraid to do this? You can do it without having anybody see it. Until you're ready. All right, let me kind of go through it again here. Up under, there's this little face. Up under the face, there's a little bit of, and I do not know what all these parts of the crab are called. But I'm trying to kind of use this little brush here a little bit so that I can kind of get the feel for it. And it feels like there's a little hair on the, of course I can't see it, but it feels like there's something on that tip. All right, so there we go. Because it's a fine point. It's in, I guess, I'm not sure. I think it's in, don't ask me what language it's in. I can't even see the lettering to see it so tiny. Um, right on this side, there's a little dark area right in there. It's fun. I mean, and y'all know me. If I don't worry about if it doesn't. I want to do my best. I always try to do my best, whatever project we're doing. But I don't get mm, embarrassed. That's the word. I don't get embarrassed if it doesn't work. I just because I mean, I don't want to say I don't care, but I really don't because it's like no big deal if it doesn't work, and you'll go, oh, that didn't work right there. Then you go, I know not what to do, right? I just don't stress about it. Hey, Whippy, everybody else popping in. Thanks for being here. So now, before I go in here with any more kind of anything else, I want to make sure my hands are clean. And I'm going to hit that with the heat gun. And then I'm going to go in there with some more of the pen details. And again, I'll probably have to get me another one of these. Or if I want to just, if I'm liking this one. Again, I'm used to just drawing quick things with my tools, pen and ink and everything else. I'm not used to doing this kind of work for a long time. It's been a long time since I really did. I mean, I've done some pointillism, I've done a lot of tiny detail, but it's been a long, long time. Equal stress-free vitamins, yeah. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to go back and I want to just kind of come in here. And now I'm going to start picking out even more details, like a little bit of shadow around the eye there. And again, I'm out of practice in cross hatching and all the line work. I've got tons, and I mean I've read and studied and done tons of things with pen and ink over the years. Claudia Nice comes to, I don't know if it's pronounced Nice or Nice, comes to mind as far as doing a lot of pen and ink work with watercolor. And it's just been a long time, guys. That's all I'm saying. I'm out of practice calligraphy, and I'm out of practice in any kind of pen and ink. And so I just thought this would be a good challenge to kind of come in here and re-practice some of these skills. So I'll just work on it for a little bit longer here. And hopefully y'all just got, maybe some information from me just talking, even though you probably can't see a whole lot of it. And a lot of things too, I know it's true with anything, it's what to leave out. I mean, you have to make those kind of decisions on if I put that line in there, it's going to really mess it up, or it's going to be, it won't add to the project. So I'm kind of just looking around, seeing where things need to be, where I don't need things. Just got a little kind of an indent thing here that looks important. That looks like that might be important in the crab anatomy. So I better put that in. And then over here, where these lines, it's like a little lip right there on the, it's got like a little lip on that shell from the top to the bottom. Do you have a crab photo? Yes. Oh my goodness, I can't make this stuff up, Whippy. Of course I have to have a reference photo. I can't make up a crab. And I've talked about that before. People go, oh, well, you use references? You have to use references if you want realistic looking anything. I mean, unless you have a photographic memory, which I don't know, personally, I don't know any artist that does. I mean, if I drew crabs all day, if I drew like Mr. Crab, if I drew crabs all day, every day, I could probably like whip one out of my mind. You know, that didn't sound right, did it? I could probably, draw one from memory. But if you're not drawing crabs every day, you're not going to know what every little bit of this looks like. Seriously. Seriously? All artists use references. Okay, let's see. I think I want a little bit of a crosshatch there. A little bit darker there. And just the reason I'm putting these little lines here is you can kind of see those lines in his claw. Let's kind of do that. Comes around. A little sharper right there. It's got these little claw things sticking out there, and there, and there. Got these little claw things. Okay, bye, Jeannie. Thanks. So I just thought I would start this challenge with some sea creatures in mind. Like I said, y'all seen me do them in, acrylic and other things. And he's got these little, let me put these little dots here. He's got kind of like little crusty knobs, nibs, stick out things there. Put a couple of those here and there where I can see a few. Just a couple, don't go crazy. And forgot what I was going to say. You kind of get in the zone with this. Know what I mean, Vern? Kind of get in the zone. All right, I'm going to go to this leg. He's got a white stripe right there, so just kind of indicate that. It's pretty sharp. There's another one over here. A little bit of one under there. You'll see a ridge. Kind of see a ridge going down. It's kind of tiny, but you see it. It's obvious. These little ridges coming down his legs like that. That one kind of comes behind. I want to make sure you can tell that that one's kind of behind that one. Again, I don't want to lose that little ridge. Okay. All right, like that. A little shadow right there. And right in there. Kind of separate those white little areas. Okay. Right. Come over here to these legs. spend lots of time on this. And it depends on, the day, the time, how much time you have that day. All these little joints, these little ball joint things. I wonder if whoever made the gorilla arm, the tripod the little mini tripod that I used to hang my camera from up here, what it looks like, it's like this. It's got 3 arms. How many? I don't know how many are on each one. It's got 3 arms on each. I know y'all seen that. I think they're called gorilla arms because they'll clamp to anything, and they're kind of cut like that. And then in between here is they're little ball things, that little ball joints that make these bend any which way. You can bend these any way you want them to. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. I showed it here on camera before. But what I'm thinking, I'm just wondering if, something like this is where I wonder where people get the ideas for those kind of things. The inventors of stuff like that, they see something like these crab legs that can look like they could have a ball joint in there. And they invent stuff like that gorilla arm tripod. I know, right, Vicki? So what I do with mine is I turn it upside down like this. I attach, here's my camera, and I have a maul stick that's attached to a tripod over here, a wall, standing. Like, it's not really a tripod. This is like a presentation tripod. And then I have there's a metal rod that's already attached to that. Then I attach my maul stick with tape to that to make it extend even longer. Then I take these ball claws and I just wrap them around that stick. And then here's my camera facing down here, and here's my table. You know what I mean, Vern? I don't know. Anyway. Rabbit trail. Oh, let's come back over here with the white paper. Crab dinner. They had crab dinner and saw it was invented it, Whippy. Maybe. Hey, you never know where these things come from, right? I have a book on where inventions came from, but I don't think that this ball claw, gorilla claw thing was included in it. We're having crab dinner, and I sat down, and I saw the way I was snapping those legs. Is that what you're saying, Whippy? So a little ridge right there. Oh my goodness. Right up to that little ridge there. Okay. All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and call this one done. Let's see how I want to, now I got to kind of figure out how I want to, because not all of them are going to be horizontal. Most of them will probably be vertical, depending on what I want to draw. But we'll do hashtag Inktober. Do I just want a 1 for the day? Yeah, I'll just put a big 1 like that. Sign it. Something like that. anyway, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed seeing a little bit of, talking a little bit about the pen and ink. Um, it's more like a little rounded socket thing right in there. I want to make sure I capture that. Little, where the eyes are kind of sitting in a little, area. So now when I look at it, I see I need a couple places. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my pen back out real quick. I want to go ahead and a couple of places I want to really have a little bit more shadow. Like under these legs right here, even though I kind of hashed them out, I'm going to go ahead and pick out a couple more. Darks. With the pen. Oh, the brush rather. Okay. I'm not liking where this is meeting up with that, but I can't really go in there and do much about it. So that's it. That's it. Like my crab. Well, I think an hour and a half on the first day's drawing there. The only other thing would kind of might be to put like some shadow under the legs. You know? That might be a nice touch. A little bit of shadow here and there. I think I'll leave it though on this one. I think I'll leave it just like that for today. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. Is anybody else wanting to stream? I can stop this one and we can, think about doing something else. Or if somebody else is Ash or anybody else, I don't even know, is she here? Anyway, if anybody else might think about streaming. But I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording and just make this Inktober, hashtag Inktober. Look for MrJakeParker /Inktober.com. I'll put a link in the YouTube. So, and I'm going to post it on Twitter and Instagram and everywhere because that's the deal. You're supposed to do that. All right, so let me stop this recording, guys. So hang on just a minute. And thanks everybody for joining me. And again, hope y'all will give it a try. If I can do it live, people, if I can do it live, you can do it like, with an eraser and a pencil to get it going. All right, just saying. Okay, Vicky. All right, so thanks, guys.